Evening, everyone. Welcome back to the YTCSE YouTube Celtic Supporters Club. I'm Brian, and I'm joined tonight by the main man himself, Roberto. Robert, how are you doing, my friend?
Very well, very well. Very nice to be on again, Brian. How are we yourself?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Midweek, hump day. We're there, mate. We're closer to the end of the week than we are to the start of the week. So I'm good. I'm good, mate. Good to have you on. Good to do a wee live first time myself and you. So we'll see how we go. Hopefully, when Mark comes back, we've not broke anything, and we're not banned for YouTube. So that'll be an achievement. So I was just wanting to just go on and have a wee update, mate. Some things coming out recently about some players that we're interested in. I see that I'm going to struggle with the pronunciations here, but Michel Ange Balikwisha, who's at Royal Antwerp. There are some stories out there that he is looking to join a Scottish club. He's wanting to move to Scotland. So it looks like we're kind of further down the road with him. He's a winger, plays for Royal Antwerp in Belgium. I think we've had a look at him before, or his name has, came up in reports. So it's another winger that we're looking at. Also, Hayato Inamura, the Japanese centre-back defender. His club, here we go for another pronunciation, Albirex Niigata. He says that they are talks with Celtic just now and they're progressing smoothly. So I think we've got a few things in the fire. Have you heard anything? Any players coming in? What's been happening?
It's pretty much at the minute. As this time of year in pre-season, the transfer rumours are swirling. I think the last one I kind of got insights with was Andy Irvine. I think he's currently with West Ham at the moment. Boy's only 25, but as far as I'm led to believe, he's been out on loan in Austria. But he's a good goals. Well, when I say he's a good goals to games ratio, he's 28 appearances and I think it was just under 10 goals from midfielder. But again, I don't think every piece of news that we're hearing, I don't think anything's concrete as such. Regards to Ramura, Benjamin Nygren, these players, I think we're just waiting to get these deals over the line.
Yes, looks like it. Nygren. Well, I was called out on the comments when I was saying Nygren. And someone was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure it's Nygren." I was like, "Sorry, I'm
Nygren."
Sorry, I failed my Swedish higher, so I forget my pronunciation. So Andy Irvine, he born year 2000, Scottish professional football, plays as midfielder for Premier League club West Ham, and he's out on loan at. Right, you ready? I'll wait you stop drinking that. Austria Klagenfurt.
That's the name I couldn't understand or pronounce, so it's Klagen.
Six cans of Klagenfurt. 6 cans of Klagenfurt. So Austria Klagenfurt. Is that where he did he got the goals and assists from this season?
He was on loan there last year. But as far as I can see, he's only had with West Ham in the Premiership and only 10 starts, I think, since 2023. So that's why he went out on loan. But like most of these players that we're linked with, a lot of their careers are kind of in the wilderness now, so I think they're looking for stability. If they're decent prospects, Celtic has been a selling club. Get them in and see what happens.
Aye, totally, mate. And I think it's just the sheer amount of talent that's down at clubs in England, innit? There's people there that could do a job for a lot of a lot of other clubs, but they just don't get it. You know what I mean? So Andy Irvine started his career at Hearts, I believe, and then he went on
It
to
was at
Berwick
Hearts Youth.
Rangers,
Yep.
played over, I don't know if that's Turkey or Turkugu München, and then Austria Klagenfurt. So he's been around, but he'll. It's a new name for us. Apparently, the BBC are saying we're stepping up interest in West Ham's Irvine. So we'll be interested to see how that goes. In the Inamura, Balikshwa, Nigrin. There's a few names kicking about, but there's a lot of medicals planned. Away moved away from Ross Hall on the NHS now. They're all sitting outside.
Get the gurneys ready.
Get the gurneys ready, exactly. Let me just respond back to Bulldog on the chat. Hail, Bulldog. So what else have been coming out? Where is it? There, aye. So, Mako and Balikshwa, keen on Celtic switch as transfer talk continue with Royal Antwerp. That is from 67 Hail, who are always seem to be on the ball there in terms of what's happening. Be interesting to see. What's another one there? So what about outs? Who do you think we're going to lose?
I think that now a lot of people are saying Kuhn's one of the key ones. Will he stay? I don't know. A lot of the guys can put the comments and see what the consensus is regards to if we do get the boy Nigrin in, will he replace Kuhn? As another prospect. I've seen him in the wing. But apparently is it Sweden he's with? He's national
he plays
club.
In Denmark, but he's Swedish nationality.
He plays up front in Sweden, centre, and he scored a few goals from the centre area. So it's going to be interesting. So I think whoever Celtic bring in next season, I think Brendan will have a game of chess in his hands of where he's going to put certain key players or players that were going to come in and fit various roles. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless. No, I'm looking forward to it. But I think it's early doors at the minute. I think Brendan still will be in his Villa in Marbella. Once upon a time, he says he put the phone in the drawer and maybe not see it till the end of July. But I don't know if he's aware we've got pre-season games in July. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who gets finalised. Because I dare say this is only the start of it.
Aye, totally. On the chat, McLaughlin, thank you very much for your comments, saying the only reason people are saying Kuhn is leaving is because he's a sour face. His body
language. His body language towards the end of the season.
What's he done? I think he scored a goal and he was giving it that. I don't know if that was to the media or the fans, whatever. But he did. The performances did drop. I think maybe he thought that after Leipzig, and he was him and Maida were our two best players in the Champions League campaign this year. Maybe he thought that he was going to get an offer straight away, and I think there was stuff coming out after January that he was angling for a move or whatever. So you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But I mentioned it in a previous video, mate, where a couple of games, I don't know if it was Aberdeen or whatever, it was he got whipped at half time. You know what I mean? And they don't usually.
His body language is awful. Mm-hmm.
There's McLaughlin saying, I think he was mentally and physically shattered by February. Kuhn and the dropper from others didn't help him. He had 37 goal contribution last season. That's a great point. But Maida had all sorts as well. You never seen him grumping and groaning in the morning. But so you don't know what's going on. It's going to be
interesting with some of these players. Again, it was a rigorous pre-season. The amount of travelling Maida had to do during the season, and he still came back. And there was times where Maida would come back from Japan for the Thursday, 24 hours rest, and then play a game on the Saturday. and a lot of people didn't even realise that. But I think towards even the penalties at the cup final, you can just see some of their body language was drained, physically drained.
Yes.
But I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. I like Kuhn. When
Mm-hmm.
he's on form, he can cut inside. He can create that space. In the early part of the season, the first quarter of the season, he was on fire, and even when he done it in Europe. But I think at some stage, with his body language, his ego looked too
Bruised
big,
it down.
as if they
Aye.
say,
He was like,
I've done my bit." And then that
what more do you
reflected
want
back
from
in,
me?
yeah,
Like, what more do you want from me? I've done my bit, you know,
correct,
like.
correct. But it's if he's going to put himself in the window, he's got to be a wee bit more consistent, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. But if he gets a good pre-season, gets plenty of rest, maybe not playing as many games, but you don't know what the agents are saying to people. You know what I mean? Oh, I've had this from Germany, I've had this from England. So it'll be interesting to see. I was talking to Keith on Come On the Hoop Celtic the other night, and he was asking about CCV. What do you think about CCV? You know, what's the chances? And I was honest with him, and I was like, he's your rock. He's your best defender, man. He's solid. Many times you've seen him wrestling players off the ball, keeping it as solid. And then when we don't have him, we seem to go all over the place. So I wouldn't like to lose him because it doesn't look. Nawrocki. There's a talk about him going back to Poland. What's
I like
going to
him.
happen there? I think we
I
are
like
like.
him.
I'd like to meet Nawrocki, but I know it's no me to pick the team. But I think
But it'll be
Brendan
a
might
sore
be.
one if we lose CCV. The man's becoming into an absolute stalwart for Celtic, and there's certain games, whether it be games that's needed in the SPFL or even the European games when he doesn't play. He's definitely missed more often than not. But
100%.
again, there's teams down south. I think Leeds, Southampton. You think to yourself, Celtic have now set a benchmark for selling players from 25 million. I think that's where most of these players, the asset value is, don't even come near me unless we'll start the talks at 25. And then if
Totally.
it's, so they've already set their road there. But is Leeds, Southampton,
Premier
um,
League.
is that his level? I don't know. I mean, guys, what do you think?
Exactly. Yes,
Would
guys.
he smash it at those sort of teams? I mean, he's getting
Exactly.
consistent football up here. He's playing Champions League football season in, season out. He's playing for his country. I, he's getting a decent, if not a reflective wage on. I mean, I think he's the second highest player paid at Celtic out with Callum McGregor. Again, down to Leeds, Southampton, the Prem. He could double his dough. But the limelight's not there in the Champions League. If I'm a player, I want to play in the Champions League. It's a massive
Yeah,
carrot.
totally. Totally. And I don't understand these players that come to Celtic to put themselves in the shop window. And when they come to Celtic, why did you come to Celtic? Oh, it's to play in the Champions League and play this and that. Celtic put them in a shop window and they go to a team that isn't in the Champions League. And it's for the money. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I put a wee comment up there for McLaughlin. Maybe next season we get a full season of Scotch and form for Nicholas Kuhn. McLaughlin, that would be phenomenal if we did get that, because it was unbelievable at the start. It was unbelievable last season. Obviously, he dropped off, but
He petered
a lot
slightly.
of us, a lot of us are maybe reading too much into it. But it looks like the wide areas is somewhere that we are definitely going to strengthen with Balichwa and what's his name, Nigrin. So yes, it'll be interesting to see up front. Do you go with Maeda and Ida? who else you bringing in? You've obviously got the young boy Osmond that's coming in for Fulham, who, by all accounts, is a cracking young player. So what do you think? Where do you think we need to strengthen up top? Do you think Ida, Maeda, and the young boy Osmond and Johnny Kenny, whatever, is the answer? Is enough for us to play 55, 60 games? Guys, let us know in the comments what you think about that.
In my opinion, this game's all about opinions. And you know yourself, there's times where the consensus with Ida is he's a wee bit like Marmite. People like him. People can do without him. I like him. When he's on fire, he's a good holding up forward, back to goal. He can turn again. Does he run into this? He's not the same type of player as Kyogo is when he would play over the shoulder, run into the space. That's just not his game. He more holds the ball up, turns space, pass, and then is like the old-fashioned centre forward. I like him. Give him half a chance, and if he gets more game time, the boy knows where the net is. There's no question, especially at this level. But it's like everything else. You need to be consistent, and if you get consistency, your confidence grows. And if your confidence grows, then who knows? But again, you've got the conundrum of the majority of Maeda's goals for last season after Kyogo left played in the centre role. So
exactly.
it's still up in the air. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have choices. I mean, Brendan's short of choices, but sometimes I can see his man management or certain players against opinions. You think, I think he should have played him, or I think he should have played him. Time will tell. Time will tell. But I would like to see the big man get a run. He's a talisman.
Totally, I like him. I think he's a young player, strong. He knows, like, I don't know if it was last season, but it was a season before. I think it was a Motherwell game, maybe at Fir Park. I think he scored 2 goals, and it really kind of helped us out. He scored an absolute belter, a header. I like him. I like him a lot. I don't know if it was the ins and outs of Kyogo leaving, him being thrust in there. I felt, just my opinion, that when he started, he tended to maybe not get that grip of the game that he does when he comes on. But I think he's a great player, and I think he's an asset. You know what I mean? He's only going to get better.
Again, there's another thing. Is he an impact player?
Exactly. But do you pay £9 million for a guy who plays half a game?
That is some impact. That is
100%. 100%. I get what you mean.
It's a lot of money.
Bulldog kind of echoing my point. I don't understand how you can leave a Celtic for a team at the bottom of the EPL or the Championship. Surely playing in the Champions League is a bigger draw. 100%. I completely agree. As I mentioned, people, why do you come to Celtic? Champions League, big stadium or that, and then leave for a team that doesn't get Champions League. So yeah, so it's all about the money. As P. McLaughlin says too, guaranteed 70 grand a week at a less than favourable team in the EPL. Could be some kids watching. I keep my P's and Q's. So yeah, it's all about the money, and it's all about the Benjamins. You get a short career.
Well, this is it, and this is the challenge these guys face. I mean, look at, again, if you switch it the other way, Tierney's probably getting paid a decent wage here. Again, he didn't want to leave us. He went down south. He's blossomed as far as I can see, experience-wise, down in Arsenal. Even when in loan to learn new things, and then he's came back up. Now, he'd have been on an absolute fortune at Arsenal, and he's, well, whether it's true or not, I think common sense tells you he's took a massive hit in wages. So he's went the other way. And again, is that a wee bit of circumstances behind the scenes of why he had to come back up? Was it family orientated? Was he just realised he fell out of favour with Arsenal? Who knows? But even to make that decision 6 months ago with a pre-season transfer to say, I'm coming back up the road, it's been in the pipeline for a while. So he's took a hit with his wages as well. So it works both ways, but I think his heart's was only going to be in one place.
Yeah, I saw a comment. It was a quote from him. It must have been his first time, and he was like, "Oh, most young kids dream about the EPL and all that. It was always Celtic that I dreamed about." So that's maybe, you know, maybe money's no his God. You know what I mean? Maybe because he's obviously made enough money, whatever. But looking at Tierney, although on the face of it, he didn't really do very well at Arsenal. But well, that's not the right terminology. Maybe he didn't do well enough with Arsenal, or he didn't feel he got enough game time. But I saw his last game. I think he scored a goal in his last game, and then or he came on, and a section of the fans were saying there's only one Kieran Tierney because he's obviously had an impact in there, and he got some nice props from the players that were leaving. So I've been interested to
There's a
see.
bit of humility there and humbleness, and I think a lot of people want me that see that humbleness. And he's only a young guy, and I think he's back. A lot of the fans when he first went to Arsenal, they saw his backstory when he travelled down and he was going into training with a Tesco bag, and that was his nickname, Tesco.
I mean, even that, I saw another one where he was getting called up for Scotland, and he was they were in the Blythewood, Glasgow, 5-star beautiful hotel, and him and Jamesy Forrest were walking up Blythewood Square getting into it, and he had a black bag with his boots not in it or his shoulder. He's like, he's
There's no prima donna there. So a lot
nah.
of these multi-millionaires down south, they've got their Gucci and their Balenciaga bags, and they're pimped right out there. But these guys, they know the score. They know the score.
Totally, man, totally. Now, this is an interesting comment by I keep saying McLaughlin. I don't know your first name, mate. It's P. McLaughlin, but on the Adam Ida point, him and Engles will be under scrutiny by the support if they're not shaping up come November. I think November's probably pushing it a wee bit. I don't know about Engles. I think Engles, me personally, I think he's shown in his first season what he can bring. I don't know, but maybe Celtic fans want him to have those Callum McGregor games where he just run the show. Like if he's against Rangers, he just runs the show, picks a pass, dominating the midfield. I think he'll be better in his second season. I think he got roughed up a wee bit and he didn't realise that, I'm not getting a foul for this. And I think he maybe didn't adapt well to the physical nature. He seemed to shrink a wee bit in the Old Firm games. Just my opinion, guys. If you feel that was not the case, but I'm expecting big things for Engles this year. What about yourself?
It's a great point. Engles is going to be one of those enigmas at the minute. We have constant discussions, if no daily, a weekly basis. And I think the biggest thing or expectation a lot of people have or foresighted in their mind is the £11 million fee. And it's that's well, sometimes he plays as if he's worth £11. But £11 million price tag. I like him, but you forget he's only 21, 22. He's came. I don't know if I'm making excuses for him now, but he's came from another country. He's tried to adapt. He's had one full season under his belt, and it's a great point. But I just hope next year he's got to grips with the game. He's got to grips with Celtic as a club, and he can shine. He can actually show things in the big games of why he's £11 million, and he's an internationalist.
And he's in with the Belgian team. And mate, obviously I'm of a certain vintage. Stan Petrov absolutely struggled. He got signed under John Barnes. If he's some size.
I was at a night the other night there. Sorry, I was at the Martin O'Neill night the other night, on Sunday there, and Petrov was there. And I remember reading his story years and years ago, and within his book, it did stipulate, and the story get regurgitated on Sunday there, to learn English. I don't know if it was a friend or a friend of a friend, the burger van story.
Totally.
So that was true. He reiterated it last Sunday, and I just thought and bearing in mind, back then, when he first, I think it was his first 2 years, maybe more, he was the least paid player,
Aye, it was like not because I think
wage-wise.
yes, I remember a comment by Martin O'Neill when he came into Celtic and he saw Petrov in training, and I'm pretty sure he basically says, "Boy, your money's going to go up." I think
There was an incident, he turned a corner, and then all of a sudden, it just exploded for him, and he became the player he was.
It just works. It just sinks in. So yeah, interesting to see how Engles comes in. Where was the comments?
Great comment, great.
Yeah. But I have to say the guys are. What about this one from McLaughlin? But Austin Trusty was defending Trusty the other night and was using Big Stubbs as an example of an underwhelming first season. Guys in the chat, what do we think about Trusty? How's Trusty's first season? Me personally, I have to agree with the commenter. It was underwhelming, but it could be his missus is pregnant, things like that. You know what I mean? He was maybe going through a lot, but hopefully I see an improvement for him. See, when you were talking about CCV, I was like, looked up Starfield. Him and CCV never lost a game when they were together. Would that be a kind of out there? You know, a wee contact of Starfield if he would come back? You know what I mean? Would you take Starfield back?
It's on Brendan's shoulders because he's paid the $6 million for him.
I Trusty, yes.
So you live with the sword, you die with the sword. Regards to that one, so he was bought under Brendan Rodgers' watch. So I think I was at the game, his first game, and he came on as a substitute. And I think it was more justification to get this man on the park as quickly as possible to get him settled and trying to experience the Celtic Park Arena.
Was it a full cup game? Was it a cup game? I'm sure me and the boy went. Me and Alfie went.
I think it was his first home game. But again, time will tell with these guys. But for £6 million, you need to be a lot consistent with your performances.
Aye, totally. And we're a tough crowd, mate. We're a tough crowd, and
there's no room for error, I'll tell you.
We don't take into consideration external stuff, you know what I mean? His missus might be stressed, maybe try to find a gaff, you know, hospital, etc., etc. So yes, hopefully, as Bulldog says, he'll come good this season. Hopefully he does. So. McLaughlin with a nice little poser. I reckon if anyone was to come back, it'd be Aya, because BR's managed him previously. What about yourself, Roberto? Would you take Aya back? Would you think he would be?
No,
nah.
I'm in the consensus of where does this stop or where does it end? To get these players linked back with the club, we could be. I mean, I read an article the other day there. Even Edward.
Yes, I am hearing that. Aye, Edward.
It's got to stop. As far as I'm concerned, you need to go forward. Of course, these players were phenomenal when they were at Celtic, but no for me. I'm sorry, no for me.
He's at Leicester now, isn't he? Obviously, they've been relegated. Who Vardy's retired, so I don't even know who's up front for Leicester or who plays for them. So yes, I don't. I think that's lazy journalism or you know lazy stuff just to kind of say, oh, what about him? You know what I mean? As if we would take him back. McLaughlin said he'd have Starfield back, even if it was for backup. He's on the fence about Ayer. So yeah, be interesting to see. But we do need defensive cover. I saw obviously Taylor. Rumours about Taylor Copenhagen pay okay. Saw pictures on Instagram. He's on holiday with Luke McCowan. The new. Obviously they're good. They're Greenock boys, the two of them, you know what I mean? They're good mates.
I'm of the vintage. I'm quite hard when it comes to that, regards to bias. So, I mean, the Greg Taylor, I think it's an ongoing saga now. It shouldn't never have got to this stage. See if he wanted to stay, you're at a club like Celtic. Again, the rumour is Celtic have not offered him what he wants, so he's still up in the air. If that's the case, get your agent and confirm.
Get him told.
If you want to stay.
100%.
You're not going to get a bigger
100%.
club than Celtic.
Totally. And even the fact is, like, just pay the guy.
I like him as well.
Same here, mate. Same here. I thought he was being our a kind of whipping boy. You know what I mean? When things have no done well. And I get it. There has been situations where he's been targeted on the left hand side with long balls and stuff like that. He's maybe he's no reacted well or coped well with it. But yeah, I think he brings a lot to the table in terms of the inverted side of things.
Calls him Wonder Molly. He just wanders with that inverted role. I mean, there's times where he's playing in centre mid, and you think to yourself, "What are you doing?"
Times I've seen him on the right hand side of midfield, and he's kind of drifting in. Well, obviously, we don't know tactically why that is, because obviously we just see your left back's gonna wander. Well, there's obviously space there, but the defenders must. He's just like going for a pie up the road. But yeah, obviously
I like him. I just wish if Celtic offered him another £4,000. I mean, I don't know what he's on just now. If it's anywhere in the regions between 16 and 20, if Celtic was to offer him another £4,000-5,000 a week, take it up to 24-25 grand, he's just a wee baby. Yes. Would that be enough to allure him and keep him? Totally. I don't know what the guys think in the comments. Would they like to see Craig Taylor stay? Or what's their opinion on Greg? He's been a great servant. He's been there 6-7 years. So it'd be interesting to see what the consensus is.
Well, what about this for a controversial opinion? McLaughlin said, is it possible that GT's already agreed to stay and the board's trying to con us a bit here with where is it? Oh, look who we've managed to keep stunt type thing. Oh, well, we worked hard and we actually came to an agreement for them to get the
it just makes them look better. It just makes them look better.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
under deliver and over promise.
Aye, mate, exactly. Now, Greg Taylor, let me have a wee look here.
It'd be interesting just to find out some of the guys, obviously out with the transfer rumours. What would, if I can ask some of the guys who's watching, what their best game they've had with Celtic?
Yes, let me get that on the chat. Best Celtic FC
they've attended.
Performance. Aye, exactly. What about yourself, mate? Over to you.
Oh, where do I start? The one that sticks in my mind is the probably I keep referring back to was the 6-2 game. The 6-2 game.
Unbelievable.
August 2000. And I think if I can think, it might have been, I don't know if the guys maybe correct me here, but it might have been Martin O'Neill's first derby.
It was. We were at home that season,
and it was I think it was if memory serves me, it was a turning point of the season. But I was up and down like a fiddler.
Mate, with the 3-0 after 11 minutes or something like that.
I think Petrov's goal, it was under a minute. No, Petrov, Sutton's goal was under a minute. The first 50 seconds. The one at the back post.
Yes.
It was just euphoria.
McLaughlin, mine's a 6-2 game followed closely by 2-0 at Anfield. Phenomenal.
My uncle just watched that game again. The 6-2 game, the 2-0 game at Anfield.
Unbelievable. Do you know what I love about that? The games is like you just see a smattering of Celtic fans everywhere. Home, obviously it's Liverpool. Celtic fans and Liverpool fans are kind of going quite well, kindred spirits. But I love that, and I think the 6-2 game was not even just a marker. right? You know, using it to beat us, whatever. But looking back, that me personally, I think Martin O'Neill was a catalyst for the modern Celtic. Fergus McCann, the business side of things, but he was a catalyst for us. We do not accept. Since then, it's been a generation of domination. I think the 6-2 game was like, this is your marker done. Me personally, it was a game I was at with my old man, who's no longer with us anymore, was the semi-final back in '88 Hearts game. We were the 2-1 game were McGee and was it McAvenny? But aye, we were. I don't know if you remember going to a game when you were a youngster in the old. You just get put down the front. Your dad was up the back and down the front, and it was 1-0 to Hearts. 5 minutes to go, and my dad's like, right, up, go. And we were going to leave, but we managed to get the 2 goals, mate. So that was my favourite for a sentimental thing. Bulldog, best ever game, Barcelona, worst game at home to Sion. Remember them?
Oh,
the Swedish team.
Oh, I remember that.
Did we end up getting them on going through because they had an unregistered player? Is that right? I think so. Mate, what about this one for the Celtic Daz out there? Partizan Belgrade, 89.
Jackie Jakinovsky.
And they got
Jackie
4 goals.
Jakinovsky.
Loved that. Loved Jackie.
The memories, superb.
Aye, unbelievable. Same as myself.
I remember as a wee boy
not here now.
being in the jungle. Tommy Burns, one of his last games when he threw the boots. When he threw the boots in the jungle, that was against Ajax. I'm pretty sure
it was actually, and then he had a testimonial against Liverpool. I watched a programme the other night. It was about Tommy Burns, but it was on BBC Alaba, so you had some kind of Gaelic stuff, and it showed that he got subbed off, and he's like, I don't know why, because it had his son Jonathan and his daughter and that was on it, and he says he doesn't know why. But he just felt he'd done that, like through his, and then it turned out to be his last game and that, and then he went to Kilmarnock. Was it Reading then Kilmarnock? It was Reading, wasn't it? Reading first. So yeah, Rafe Rovers 94. Oh my God! I can.
Gordon Dale scored the winner.
Me, I can remember physically crying as a wee boy. Because it was at Ibrox, wasn't it? It was Ibrox. The final was at Ibrox. I can remember.
It was a Coca-Cola Cup.
Because Paul McStay, the maestro, was my greatest player of all time, and he missed a penalty, and I was great eyes about it, man. So that was a badging. And Falkirk's semi-final '97 got Tommy the sack, which was unfortunate. So yeah, interesting comments on your best ever game, your worst ever game. I don't know if Roberto's needs to go and put 10 bob in the meter, but it seems to be frozen a wee bit there. You still with us? Look at his face. Fantastic. So I'm not too sure what's happening with Roberto. Let me give him a wee message to see if he's on there. Nah, I've lost him, man. He's tapped out. He's tapped out, troops. Right, lovely. So yeah, so guys, thank you very much for your comments and everything tonight. We just wanted to jump on, myself and Robert, have a wee chat, get some comments, see how you're getting on. And as always, please share the podcast, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Hail, hail.
Testies went off.